Hey guys, so the goal of this video is to introduce you to citations and references. Now, professors often throw around these words casually and sort of assume that students know what they mean, cite your sources, right? Include citations, format your reference list according to Chicago style, something like that. However, in my experience, students don't necessarily know what these words mean. And I think the best way to explain the whole concept of citation is to begin by defining those three words. What is a citation? What is a reference? And what is a source? So that is what this video is going to be doing. Okay, so let's start by talking about citations. Where are they? What are they? And what do they do? So where do we find citations? We're looking right now at an academic article, and you'll notice that within the text of the academic article, from time to time at the end of sentences, there are these little notes. They will often have a name in them. They will often have a number. They will always have parentheses. This is the key thing, right? So where do you find citations? They are in the text of the article in parentheses. Okay, so what are these little things and what are they doing there? Well, this is the way I like to think of it. Each of these citations is like a little signpost, right? Like that, a sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13 citations, 13 little signposts on these two pages. And what each of those signposts is telling you is it's saying, hey, I got this information. So the information that immediately preceded the signpost, right before the signpost. I got this information from someplace else. I got this information from my research. And if you want to know more about where I got this information, this signpost will point you towards the place I got that information. That's what the citation is. It's a little signpost in the middle of the text, and it's pointing you off in the direction of what? Well, let me explain. If you flip all the way back in your article to the very end, you will find a section called references, right? And what those little signposts are doing is each signpost is pointing you in the direction of an item on this list. So let's take a look at one of these citations here, Chun and Go 2011, right? If we follow that signpost back to the reference list, that will take us to a reference. That right there is a reference. And I should note that each of these things, each of these is a reference. This is a list of references, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 references on this list here, right? So a reference list, this is the reference list as a whole, is made up of individual references, which you're seeing here. So the citation is a signpost that leads you to the reference, which is located at the end of the article in the reference list. And you'll see that a reference, it's a string of information. I'll explain what this information means later, but for the moment, know that it's sort of like an address, like you might write on a letter or a package. And this string of information, it tells you where to go if you want to find the source. So in a way, the reference is a much larger signpost with more information on it. And if you were to follow that signpost, it would lead you to the source, which is the place that the author got this information up here, which is followed by the citation. Okay, and finally, what is a source? Well, it's simple. The source is wherever the author got their information, right? So it could be a book, an article, could be a film, a work of art, a survey, an interview, you name it, right? It really could be anything, right? However, for the most part, in academic articles, the sources tend to be other written texts, right? Books, articles in academic journals, and so forth. So where do we find the sources? Well, we find them out in the world. They could be anywhere, but mostly they're going to be in the library or on the internet. Okay, so I'm hoping this has given you a basic understanding of what those three words mean: a citation, a reference, and a source. Just to summarize, a citation, what is it? It's like a little sign that we find in the text of the article in parentheses. What does it do? It points us to the reference, which is like a larger signpost that we find at the end of the article in the reference list. It has a string of information on it. And what does that reference do? It points us to the source, which could be anything, but is likely to be a book or an article. And it could be anywhere out in the world, but we're likely to find it in the library or on the internet. Okay, guys, those are the very basics of citations, references, and sources. In the next video, I'm going to explain in more detail what does all that information that you see in citations and references mean, how can we interpret them, and how can we start to use them ourselves in our own writing. Okay, thanks for watching.